Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Your Lurgan Podcast. I'm Michael Scott, and I'm on my own this week. Pardonna's not feeling too good this week, so I'm flying solo. Well, we will have a guest on later on, but for now, you've just got me. So I've got to try and talk to you for 20 minutes to half an hour about what's been going on all week. Will I be able to do it? Let's find out. So we'll do what we always do. I mean, this is why we're here, to talk about the biggest stories of the week that have been affecting you, our wonderful readers in and around the Lurgan and Craigavon area. Hello to you all. Many thanks for your support. But I suppose the biggest story of the week we have to talk about Boris Johnson. Yes, the long dragged out Boris Johnson finally on his way out of number 10. He resigned on Thursday, of course, as leader of the Conservative Party after much speculation, much pressure. He was really supposed to start it off on Tuesday, whenever Sajid Javid, the Health Secretary, and the Chancellor Rishi Sunak resigned. We had this bizarre situation where cabinet ministers were being appointed and then resigning. Michelle Donlan, I think, was the Education Secretary for 35 hours? Was it even as long as that before she resigned? And then there's wave after wave, starting off on Thursday morning with the resignation of Brandon Lewis, who, of course, was the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. He's now gone. He's been replaced in the new cabinet by, I hope I'm saying this right, Shailesh Vara, who is the new Northern Ireland Secretary. Even his new Chancellor, Nadeem Sawai, he resigned too. Or sorry, he didn't resign. He told the Prime Minister that he had to go. So now we're in the situation where he has resigned. Boris has resigned as leader of the Conservatives. He's still Prime Minister until a new leader is elected. So we'll just have to wait and see how soon that can be done. I suppose I can tell my stories about how I interviewed Boris twice, actually. I suppose the first time I interviewed him was whenever I was working as deputy editor of the Drone Courier at the time, and I was up in Magherafelt. There was a window place, I think it was. I can't remember the exact name of it. I'm very sorry to the company who invited us up. I cannot remember who you are. But he had visited this place. He was mayor of London at the time. I think he was mayor of London at the time. And this was just in and around the time that the Brexit debate was going on, or there hadn't been a vote at that stage. And if I'm right in saying, it was the week after Boris had famously written 2 articles to appear in one of the Sunday papers and opted in the end. This is one in support of staying in the EU and one in favour of leaving the EU, and ended up going with the one to leave. I think that may have been published on the Sunday, and Boris was in Magherafelt on the Monday. Could be wrong in that there. It was in around that time anyway. And I went up and interviewed him. And of course at that time, one of the big issues that farmers here were facing were, they were wondering what was going to happen to our farm payments if we leave the EU. What's going to happen? And of course, Tyrone being a fairly rural area, I was sent up the road to go and find Boris and ask him this question. And to be fair, he spoke to me. It was a lot of bluff. Let's just say we didn't really get a straight answer. But anybody who has watched anything involving Boris will know that's pretty much how a Boris interview goes. But it was, to be fair, he made time. He came over. He spoke to me. I think I was only allowed to ask 2 questions, and Boris was like, "Oh yes, ask away, yeah." So that was, for somebody who from over here who doesn't, in a weekly newspaper, doesn't really get to ask important people questions. That was quite something. And then during the 2019 election campaign, whenever I was the editor of the Ulster Gazette, Boris came over to Tandragee, the Tito Castle, which was bizarre. But again, got to interview him then as well. I think we had a couple of staff off at the time, and it was across the road from my house. So I got to go over and interview Boris. It was bizarre. Um, and you know what? Thinking on it now, it was probably one of the worst questions I've ever asked anyone. Because obviously we only get a small window of opportunity. The way they did it was we were all pulled into one place. So the journalists that were there, we sort of had to work out, right, we're going to ask about this, we're going to ask about that. So because I was from the local newspaper and the only local journalist there, I had to think of a way to get a local angle out of what was he doing here. Um, so I asked him that, and whenever there's no Conservative candidate standing in Northern Ireland, what brings you to Northern Ireland, and also what are your favourite type of crisps? Um, and then it emerged actually just as we were doing that there had been a statement by the Sinn Féin MP at the time asking why was I not told you were coming. So he answered firstly that he was here because he wanted to be seen to be in all parts of the United Kingdom, Prime Minister for everyone, all that sort of thing. And in answer to the question about his favourite type of crisps, of course, like everybody else, cheese and onion, potato, cheese and onion were his favourite. And the reason being that he had been over here for another visit, and on his way out, somebody had given him this huge sack of potato, cheese, and onion crisps, which he ate by himself in Downing Street. So he came back and he wanted more. So he's away, I think, with a big box. And then, yes, so he gave us this memorable line. He wasn't really sure what had happened with Mickey Brady, who's the Sinn Féin MP for Newry and Armagh, why he hadn't been invited. And came out with this line about how he apologised for not informing the MP who doesn't take a seat that he was here. So yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it was a show whenever Boris rolled into town, but yeah, his time's up, and yeah, that's that. Moving on, locally, better stories happening locally. More important stories. Story which emerged, I think it was on Tuesday, that parents at Lurgan Model Primary School had voted to begin the process of becoming integrated. Now, 99% of parents, well, there was 55% of parents responded to a consultation about whether or not the school should move towards integrated status, and 99% of that 55% said yes, that they were in favour of integration. So this has been getting a lot of reaction online, a lot of people very much in favour. 4 schools across Northern Ireland were announced at the time that they have voted to move towards integrated education. The other ones being in Strabane, Macrofelt, and one near Omagh as well. So yeah, we're hopefully going to get speaking to the principal of the Lurgan Model. We've a request in for a chat, but as you can imagine, school's out for summer and teachers are taking their holidays, so we'll hold fire on that one. But hopefully we'll get a word of the principal soon. But yeah, lots of good reaction to that. The chief executive of the Integrated Education Fund, Tina Merrin, she applauded the decision of the parents to do this, and I think this is now the 17th school to have such a ballot, because of course the parents have to make the decision on behalf of the school. There's no point in the school governor saying we're going to do this, but the parents saying no, we don't want you to do this. So yeah, so the next stage basically is they can the development proposal will be put forward to the Department of Education, and that will include a transformation action plan, which will basically turn the school from controlled to integrated. And then the final say will rest with the Minister for Education, who, by the way, is still sitting on her hands about the issue with Lurgan Junior High. So we'll have to see what happens in that, because obviously we want to get, well, the people at Lurgan want to know what's happening before September. So interesting story there, and of course we'll keep across developments in that one. And another interesting story, one which actually affected myself very recently. Owen Tennyson, the Alliance newly elected MLA, has been talking about what he described as a complete shambles whenever it comes to booking an MOT. People are having to wait months to get one. And he's saying that the previous infrastructure minister, who was the SDLP's Nicola Mallon, had promised that the department would extend the reminder letter notification period for those waiting MOTs, but no action has followed, and people are now sitting waiting possibly up to 5 months waiting to get an MOT. I mean, my MOT for my car, I was in the situation where my MOT was due to expire at the end of June, and my tax was up on the 1st of July, something like that. I can't remember exactly what way it worked, but basically they're up around the same time. And there's people out there will know, if you don't have your MOT, you cannot tax your car. You either have to sort it, or I don't really know what else you have to do. But yeah, it was a nervy few weeks waiting to see him, because I had tried to get my appointment back in April, I think it was. I realised I was running out of time and I had to get my MOT booked. And yeah, the earliest appointment I could get was in October, which obviously was no good to me. So as the days counted down towards the end, or my MOT coming up, I was left trying to find out, what do I do here. So I got lucky in the end. The week before my MOT was due up, I managed to get an appointment in Armagh. So managed to get the car MOT'd and then taxed and whatever else, so it was fine. But obviously a lot of stress and hassle for people out there who want to know, what do they do. Now, I'm led to believe that whenever I was speaking to the girl on the phone, whenever I was asking her this very question, what do I do here if I can't get an appointment? You have to keep looking for cancellations. You can phone up the DVLA and ask them, or just say to them, like, I'm within 5 days of my car tax running out. I've no MOT, or I'm not going to be able to get an MOT until whenever. As long as you've booked an appointment, they will try and get you an emergency appointment. But of course, if you can't get one, well then what do you do? So lots of questions to be answered on that one, but it's certainly one that is being by MLAs locally to get that resolved. But I mean, how you get that resolved, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a backlog there, which goes back as far as COVID, in fact, even possibly before that, because I remember there was issues in Armagh, funny enough, with was it the equipment wasn't working or something like that? There, one of the lifts wasn't working. So yeah, that's one that people will want to see resolved very quickly, because I mean, waiting near enough 6 months for an MOT is just not good enough. Speaking of cars, I was out on Sunday. Some of you may have seen our Facebook Live. We'll bring you a flavour of that now. From the American Cars and Coffee event, which was held in support of Knitted Knockers. I took my wee man up to Brownlow House. He had a ball. He thought all the cars were class. You may have seen him in some of the footage running about. And we had a look at what was on offer. Some of the cars, some of the entertainment that was going about. So yeah, let's have a look at that. Hi everyone, we're back again here at Brownlow House. We're just having another wee look. Just discovered that there's a non-American car section around the side of the castle. Well, you might like a look at some of those. This is one of the Porsches. Lots of cars, lots of coffee.
really is something for everyone down here. So if you're, as Lucy said this morning, why not come down and have a look and see what we've got down here for you? All being held in aid of Knitting Knockers, a great cause. As you can see, some classic cars, some really classic cars, and they're all alongside some not so classic cars here, like a Volkswagen Polo, but all kept in the best of nick, of course.
There you are. Those Cars and Coffee, all held for a very worthy cause. Well done to the people at Knitting Knockers who organised that. And yeah, any more events coming up? If you'd love to have us come down to your event, we'd love to come along. Email us info@yourlurgan.com and or send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And we'll certainly try and get down to you. Absolutely no problem there at all. We'll move into sport. And this week saw the launch of Glenavon's new away kit. This is not the biggest story in sport, but it got a lot of reaction anyway. Glenavon's new away kit, bright yellow, and I mean bright yellow. I thought I had one here. I mean, I thought this highlighter was bright, not as bright as Glenavon away kit. It's, if you ever think of one of them highlighters you get with the navy lid on top, it sort of reminds you of that. So it's well, you'll see for yourself in the footage we're about to show you. But it's bright yellow with navy sleeves, navy shorts, and bright yellow socks. So I mean, the players have no excuse for not fighting each other with passes this year, especially if they're playing away from home. Some people commenting as well that this is maybe to help the Irish League teams cut down on floodlight costs whenever we're playing. But yeah, we went out on Thursday evening whenever the Glenavon Club shop was opening for the first time to get the reaction of the fans to see what they made of it and maybe their hopes as well for the new season. So here's what some of them had to say.
Hello everyone. Well, there's been a lot of build up. There's been a lot of anticipation. Big announcement today, and finally it's out. But enough about Boris. The new away kit's out. Come on, what do you see? There it is, in all its glory. Fluorescent yellow was probably how you'd describe that there. Navy sleeves. Don't know why their shorts are so high on that mannequin, but there you are. Navy shorts, yellow socks. Beautiful, beautiful. What do you think? What do you think of the kit yourself?
I think it's quite good. There've been a few highlighter jokes, but
it does look a bit like one of them highlighters you get.
It was the first thing I thought of with the old school highlighters, but I like it. Certainly no excuse about missing passes on a cold Tuesday night.
Yeah. Shouldn't be able to miss anybody tonight. Tell me what you think of the new kit.
Yes. When I seen the photos earlier, I thought it was nice, but then I think it's even better in person. The light earlier was hard to see, but yeah, I think it's nice. I like the way the navy matches the shorts as well.
Yeah. You've also bought one for yourself.
Oh, what?
Come on. What do you reckon for this season then? How do you think we'll do?
I don't know. The signings we've made so far have been decent enough, but then never know. Last year we made some good ones, but now I'm happy enough with the squad we've got. But get a couple more signings in and make the numbers up and
see how we get on.
Yeah, make top 6 and
I'll let you fly on. Top man, cheers. Come here, we're live on Facebook. You going to get the new kit?
I am indeed. Going to get it for Spain.
Oh, good man.
Going to Spain in the morning time, so.
Oh, very good. So you're getting this tonight to put in your suitcase?
I get it in the suitcase.
Or will you wear it in the airport?
I'll wear it in the airport, that's what we'll do.
Good man, send us a picture.
The only bad thing is that she'll be able to find me now.
Oh, well, this is it.
There'll be no disappearing to go for a quick drink and you'll be able to spot me in a crowd.
Well, this is it. What do you think of it?
It's nice. It is nice. It's Marmite. You'll either like it or you'll hate it. But me personally, I like it.
Good man, okay. So I'll let you go in and get it.
No problem.
Top man, cheers.
Now, for a roundup of the rest of the week's sport, I have been talking to our star reporter, our SGA man, Eugene Creaney. He's been telling us all about what's been going on in the world of Gaelic, and as well, some news about a local bodybuilder as well. Well, Eugene, thanks for joining us. You've had a busy week this week because you've been covering the tournament up at the Wolf Tones. How's that been going?
It's going good. It's going good. So far, so good. There are 4 teams in it at this minute in time, and we're all enjoying your podcast with Donnacha McKeown. I hope Donnacha gets well pretty soon. I know he's been poorly with the cold these last few days, so we'll wish him well. And he no doubt he'll be listening to us and checking our scores and see how we get on. But yes, that wee tournament has been going for a number of years, but with COVID, it kind of went by the wayside. And the Tones Club have got up and running. We have basically two of the top teams in the county, Clonard and Clonagale, played last night with the Blues winning that by 4 or 5 points on, I think it was Tuesday night. Yeah, St. Peter's against the Tones, who won it pretty comfortably. So it's going to run through this weekend, and then next Wednesday, I think, so the next round of games, and then we have the final next Saturday night, before they have a bit of a night in the club itself. But it's going pretty good. The under-19 section, which has been kind of ignored for a while, who the guys are too old for 17s, not just ready to break into the first, are all playing on that. So some decent players, and there've been some big crowds, and the pitch is immaculate. They have a 3G at the back, Michael, and they have a training pitch is second to none, so the facilities are fantastic. So the young lads are all enjoying it. And I tell you what, the managers are taking it pretty seriously, which is always good to see.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's at that age, I suppose, they do need to be a wee bit more competitive, don't they?
They certainly do. And it's that wee age where they start, going to university. Maybe some will drift away from it. I know quite a few of them are playing for mid-Ulster clubs who are doing that at the minute until the season starts. They're all doing their pre-season training. So the boys are going to be doing both then. A lot of them will play for Lurgan Celtic, Oxford. I know some of the boys were with Thunder United and that there. A couple of them were with Loughgall. So they'll all be looking for them pretty soon as well. So they're going to be busy over the autumn. Going to be pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, we're on the club scene now, I suppose they're starting to ramp up again, and the county players will be back with them now as well after Armagh's exit.
Yes, Michael, 100%. It was heartbreaking for a lot of the club boys, but they're pretty professional about it. They're putting their heads, shoulders to the wheel pretty quickly, and a lot of them are back with the clubs. It was down at the Sarsfields game last night down in Derry Traston where Ethan Rafferty was playing. He's a midfielder. He was moving between midfield and full forward last night, and he was the Armagh goalkeeper. He made a fantastic name for himself. In fact, he could probably end up getting an All-Star this year for his exploits for the county. He's been fantastic. He had to face that terrible penalty shootout against Galway 2 weeks ago, and he was playing last night. So all the boys are coming back. Apart from that is like a Conor Turbot, Rian O'Neill, and these boys who went off to America to play in various competitions. They'll be there and they'll set themselves up there in the camp, and they'll maybe get a wee bit of work, socialise a bit, and they'll come back and ready for the Armagh Club Championship in August, which is a knockout again. So those boys needed a wee break. They've had a pretty tough season with all the qualifier games with the county, and they'll join other guys from all over the province, basically all over Ulster, to play in those tournaments in America, and then they'll come back fresh for their club championships again. And we've a huge weekend coming up, as you know, the All Ireland semi-finals in the football. With Derry against Kerry, Kerry against Dublin, who are the two favourites, irrespective of how you look at it. And then Galway beat Derry, Galway beat Armagh, as you know. And I know the Derry team been missing one of their top stars, young Skinner. Noticed back with Glenavon again. I noticed
young Skinner. He's older than me.
Well, he's about I think he's 37, 38, Michael, is he?
He is, yeah, 37, I think, on his birthday. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I know Gary Hamilton rated it pretty highly when he was there before, and he's a tough guy. He can take a tackle, and he's very athletic. And then he went to Coleraine. Do you remember the memorable goal he got in the cup final with Coleraine that day?
I do remember very well. I celebrated that goal because his goal actually got Glenavon into Europe that year. So yeah, good man, Skinner.
You got what, Michael? Sorry.
It got Glenavon into Europe that year because Coleraine won the Irish Cup, which meant that. I think the Irish League had lost a place for the Europa League, but because we finished third in the league that year, and usually third place would have got you into Europe, but whatever had happened, it didn't work out. Coleraine finished second, and actually that year almost won the league at Mourneview Park.
That's right.
But so then we had a bit of a wait to see whether or not we'd get into Europe with Coleraine winning the Irish Cup. Luckily enough, they did, and Skinner scored the goal. So. It worked out very well for us in the end.
Remember listening to Liam Baggett and the boys, and Joel Taggart was on, listening to the comedy in the game. I didn't actually see it, but they were talking about he had to go into the corner with us, to kill the time down, but he wouldn't stay in the middle. But that's just the way he plays and all, So no doubt Gary would have a role for him in Mourneview Park, so he could probably come on maybe the odd time, and maybe he can start, but he can score, and he probably will get on the score sheet quite a few times with Andy Waterworth away.
Yep, fingers crossed anyway. We also have to say as well, best luck to the Armagh ladies. They're playing on Saturday. That's right. Or by the time this comes out, they'll have played. But good luck to them. And then finally, Eugene, David Stewart, you did a piece on him at the weekend. He's won a major tournament.
Yeah, Davey's been doing that sort of stuff. He's a bodybuilder and he's been flying the flag for the town. He's based up at Flush Place in the fitness factory. Young Camels are him up there. In fact, maybe you can go up and get Donna go up sometime and give him a wee post. He's at the place running it. That looks really well. So
a gym is a place I need at the minute, Eugene, I can tell you.
What?
A gym's a place I need at the minute.
No, we all. My gym's Lurgan Park at the minute, so you can't get anybody anywhere nice and have to walk around. So I've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
But Alan Campbell and the two daughters run that gym. They're fantastic coaches, and Davey won that event down in Newton. I think he's won the British Championships. That was the Northern Ireland Championships. It's over 40s as it were. So Davey's in good shape, but he's going over to the British Championships in Leatherhead in England soon. I think that's in Surrey. And no doubt he'll represent us all. But he's a good lad, and they're doing some. George Coleman trains up there. I think he's an MMA fighter up with Alan as well. But he's a bit gentle. He's going to stand the sling. So best have a Davey in that competition.
Absolutely, best of, or well done to Davey. And yes, Eugene, thanks very much for joining us. Much appreciated.
No bother, Michael. And hope Donnacha is back pretty soon. All the local clubs are going pretty well at the minute, and as I say, they're all playing away until the mid-Ulster starts and the end of the finals and that as well, and all sorts of stuff. But wish all the teams well around the town and moving forward. I'll see you where it takes it to, and thank you.
My thanks to Eugene for joining us and digging me out of a hole with this podcast. It's been strange not having Donnacha around, but hopefully he will be back with us next week. In fact, he's planning on working on a wee feature which you'll be able to see across the week on Your Lurgan, a series of videos looking at landmarks across the town and their significance, their history, how they came to be, and I'm sure that will be of great interest to a lot of you. Always good to find out a little bit about the place we call home. Also in Your Lurgan this week, we'll be looking at the 12th, of course. It's on Tuesday. We'll have pictures from that on Tuesday evening, and the 13th as well from Scarva. Unfortunately, we can't stretch to get the Bangor, but if anyone wants to send us some pictures from the day they went to Bangor, please send them in and we'll use them. What else we got in Your Lurgan this coming week? Let me just check my notepad in case there's anything I've forgotten about. No, we're full. We've got plenty of stories lined up for you this week as well. We've just been working on finishing our plans for the holiday period, and yeah, we've got lots coming up, so do keep an eye on Your Lurgan. We have plenty of stories to keep you informed and entertained, and if you think there's something that we should be covering, by all means get in touch. You can send us a message on social media, because we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course on YouTube, where you may well be watching this, at Your Lurgan on pretty much all of those. Send us a private message, or you can email info@yourlurgan.com. That'll come to me, and I'll be able to help you out with any stories you might have. But for us, for now, from me, for now, I should say, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the holiday period. Stay safe, whatever you're doing. And yeah, thanks for joining me. All the best. Bye-bye.